Okay. If you've got hiking tours, walking, you're getting ready to get out there as we go into March, you got to pull this program up. We're going to really explore how to actually get into the deep muscles of the gluteal, your butt, and turn those muscles on, get them firing. Many of us are walking around like just swinging our legs. We're not engaging the gluteal and the gluteal complex. Okay, that's what we're going to do. I'm barefooted. You don't have to be barefooted, but it's great if you can be. Okay, so I want to make sure that my sound is up. Sorry about that. Make sure my sound is up. There. All right. I think you can see me now. Okay. On Monday, I did a move. I'm going to turn this here so you can see what I'm doing. I'll turn it like that. Okay. And I had you standing, holding on to something. I had you bring your leg back like this. See that? And then all I had you do was tighten your gluteal and then lift it. And then I had you pull it in like that and then come back out and go down. See that? See, it's just a little bit. When you do this move, and this is I'm going to tell you, I'm going to set you up because you're going to do the same kind of a thing when we get down on the ground today. When you do this move, if you take your heel too quickly or too tight into here, a good chance that it might just grab on you. And I'm trying to avoid that. Yeah, you just have to, it's going to be painful, but you can stretch it back out. So why am I telling you this? Because the hamstring is very instrumental in getting your gluteal actually firing. But you can rely on your hamstring only to lift, and then you get into trouble with not actually getting the gluteal going. So now I've gone to the other leg. So see, I did this Monday. See, there's my toe. Gonna lift, not too tight, and then come up. So you come in just a little until you feel the hamstring, okay? And you'll feel it contracting. So that's going to go for whether you're standing or whether you're lying down. So we're going to really explore in the progression in the gluteal butt lift. That's what we're going to do today. But before we get started, I've got my little pad here, and I'm just going to sit down. How many times have you sat down this morning and stood up? A couple of times, maybe. Back down, back up. What's different? A, I'm barefooted, right? B, I am doing this as a part of a warm-up because we're going to be targeting right here. And when I say target right here, when I point here, by virtue of involving this muscle, it's not just one muscle, it's several groups. Anytime I use this, I am including that whole complex. So it's going to involve this, the sides, everywhere. Now we're going to just put this into a warm-up zone. So I'm down here, and I'm going to dig in with my hands and come straight out here. I'm not going to go up. Not yet. Not yet. Drop my shoulders. Take a breath through my nose. Now I'm going to hip hinge. And you see I have these out here? This might be too much for somebody who is struggling with back issues. Because when you do this and you're in this position, whoa, are you using these powerfully? That's why you cannot round your back. That puts it in a mechanical weak zone to really impact your vertebrae, not in a good way. So here I am standing, reach out. Now I'm going to hip hinge. I'm going to keep these hands out as I go down. Bring the hands in. When I bring the hands in, my elbows are pushing back with my shoulders down, depressed. See that? Then I'm going to go right back into this. My feet are a little bit wider than my shoulder. I'm going to hip hinge. As I hip hinge and I take my back into this plane of motion right here, I don't want to put my hands out there too much. Okay? Why? Because when I lengthen my lever here at the point of where they're attached, which is all up into the shoulders and down into our back, that is our kind of our fulcrum area. So as I come into this, I'm going to push into the heels, come up and reach them out here. Okay? Then I'm going to hip hinge, come back down. And as I do this, I'm thinking, where do I feel the pressure in my feet? Where do I feel the pressure on my spine? Bring the elbows back. Point the elbows to my armpits. See that? Drop your shoulders. Take a breath through the nose. Exhale through the nose if possible. So as I come out here, don't make this mistake. You want to reach out too quick. Don't do that because that will target and push right into the vertebrae. And if I'm not right there with you, I'm just assuming, because I've seen it done hundreds of times, when you come to this point right here, I don't want your hands out here. I want them back here. Okay? Now I'm going into the heels. I'm dropping my shoulders. And at this point, you got to keep your back extended. Then you come up. Then you reach out. You want to do it in this kind of line of movement. So when the thumbs are pointing at the armpit, not bending at the wrist, wrist is neutral. Pull those elbows back. When I said what I'm doing today is all Kay's fault, this is one of them. I can tell you, Kay, if you're doing this correctly, drop your shoulders. Elbows are at shoulder height, not dropped. They're up here. You're pushing them back. Then you hip hinge. Keep your chin tucked. Then you start to come out. As you push into your heels, you go up, and then you push your hands out. Okay? Then as I go down, they come in. So when I'm in this position where my back is the most vulnerable, my hands are in. I'm bringing that leverage back in. I'm shortening the leverage. Okay? So movement is just a bunch of physics. Okay? Body mechanics. Here we go. See this? See this? See what I'm doing right now? Let me take a little side note. Look at my elbows. See, I'm sitting here pretty much on the edge of this little, I give myself 2 inches of grace because this is part of our warm up. Here's the deal. Do you know that if you will open your hips and go back here and just touch your shoulders, just touch your shoulders, the top of your shoulders, elbows are up, drop your chin. Now come back in again, right to here. See that move? See how right here, now you're starting to feel that contraction? I call it your muscles right here kicking. You feel it, it's tightened, right? Take a breath, drop your shoulders, come forward until now you don't feel it, right? But you start to stretch through here if you've kept your back extended. This would be my chosen move for somebody who wanted to get stronger in their abdominal muscles over setups. Okay? because now they're acting as they're not a primary mover. They are a stabilizer, and that's what we want to get better at, is stabilizing. Okay, with our abdominals, that's their big function, is to stabilize. And somebody might question me on that. Well, what do you mean? You don't go around all day doing sit-up type moves, but guess what you do all day? If you're standing upright, if you're sitting upright, your stomachs and your back, your stomach muscles and your back, which is called our core, they have to stabilize. And if they weren't stabilizing, you would be in a pile on the floor. So this move, oh my gosh, sitting at the edge of your chair, take a breath. I put an extra component here with our hands in this particular position with our elbows pushing back. When I open back to just tap the top of my shoulders right there, man, I am working here. Now I'm going to pull forward, and now my back starts in. See that? Now we're ready to come up, 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 and out. So here's the deal. You probably haven't gone through a class, any kind of an exercise class, and they broke down the progression that's needed to just do what we just did, which is step, open back, come forth, and stand up. But you did it here. These little things are important, y'all. Okay, so we've done that a number of times. Let's go right here, like you're riding a horse. See this? I put my hands right here at the hip joint, right there. That's what I did. Drop my shoulders, hip hinge, okay? Right into that, hip hinge into that, come up out of that, take one hand, I don't care which, I'm gonna take this outside hand. I'm gonna keep riding the horse. I'm gonna take that hand over my head, but I am not going to bend excessively. I wanna bring the hand over. Pretend I'm right there with you and I just grabbed your hand and started to pull it. Pretend that. Don't really bend at the waist. Pull or push your hand over your head, then come back. I don't want you to do excessive side bending, okay? So ride your horse. See, ride your horse. When you ride the horse, you gotta keep the back extended. Because if you ride a horse and you don't have a good stable core, anybody that's been involved in equine at all, horse riding, will tell you, yeah, you got to keep really sitting really up in the saddle. So when I say ride your horse, I want the same kind of a thing. So we'll do this a few times. And you see I have my hands right here, so I feel the hip, okay? And as I do this, I'm shifting what? I'm shifting into the heel. Now squeeze right there. So this is part of that whole gluteal turning on. So one of the best things to warm up with, to do what we're gonna do here in the next segment, is sit to stand. Yeah, so here I am, I'm right here. Now when I come up, I'm gonna drop my shoulders, take a breath, and what am I gonna squeeze? I'm gonna squeeze my gluteals, okay? I don't wanna squeeze my hamstring. Some people tighten their hamstring. I wanna squeeze the gluteal. And you can take your thumb and just push right there. Just that kind of a touch can help you identify what part your brain is trying to turn on. Okay, so here I go. Hip hinge, yes. Then I'm gonna come up, and now I'm gonna go to the other side. So I'm gonna slip this hand up, see? And when I say up, I mean up. It's not across, it's up, okay? Ride your horse, take a breath, tight tummy. Now, pretend I'm with you and I just grabbed your wrist. and I'm pulling the hand over your head. And I bend a little, but not a lot. The most stretch is coming under here. Okay, that move. And then bring it back. So it's not an excessive side bending, moving your hip all out of socket. It's more of pretending somebody's pulling. Now, you don't have somebody to pull, but just move this over. Don't excessively bend here. You don't see me doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm doing this and pulling because I want a whole different set of muscles to be targeted on that move. People totally misunderstand this move. Let's do it one more time on the other side. Again, you don't see me doing this. I'm not doing that. That's why I want you to ride the horse. See, if I have you riding the horse, you're setting back into the heels. And this is protected a little bit. But then you can't excessively go over there. Pull. See, it's going to come from way down here. And if I just rock and roll from my waist, it's going to be a whole different move. Okay? This is Kay's fault too, this whole thing right here. Okay. I hope she's laughing. Kay gets my humor. She's been with me long enough. Oh my gosh, 1982, you think that's long enough? Okay. Now, step back. Very important. Right here. Step back. Yeah, just like that. Just step back. Okay? Just look underneath. See if you turned your foot out or not. You got to keep it straight on. Got to. Okay? And then just come back. And you might sit here going, well, what's the big deal with that? That's not doing anything, Jeannie. I would disagree with you. This little move right here, stepping back, staying on balance, when you have multiple joints replaced, this move of stepping back, this is my hip replaced side, keeping your feet going forward, settling down into your shoulders, and pushing your hip forward now. Yeah, that's opening this whole complex. And you can tighten your gluteal here. Then you step back in, take a big breath. So if you could do nothing else to help you, if you're doing excessive walking, excessive bending forward, doing something in your yard, you know, picking up all the chocolate that you got during the holidays. Okay, drop your shoulders. I'm going to step back again. This move right here. See that? Yeah, that right there. Now push your hip bones right here forward. Don't lift your heel. Don't lift your heel. Now stay on target with me. You're just bracing right here. You're not really sucking in your stomach. I just want you to brace. Just tighten in a little bit. Drop your shoulders. Okay, hang out here for just a second because now you're going to push your hip bones right here. Drop your shoulders. Take a breath. Push your hip bones forward. Keep your heel down. Take a breath. Now come back up and come back up. I want anybody that's been coming in with me to be able to do this move smoothly with good postural alignment. Do not turn your toe out. Do not lift your heel. And then when I put my hands here, see, I'm just lightly pushing on my thumbs to push my hip forward. Oh my goodness. You will feel this, this stretching happening. You can call it stretching. I call it opening right through here. It is your little secret weapon. If you'll just go over to the corner somewhere or against a wall and just step back and then brace gently and then push your hips forward until you feel that stretch coming through right here, that really opening up. of the flexors, the hip flexors, that's going to be your little secret weapon. So now after you do that, just turn your foot out like this. Okay? Yeah, because it's supposed to be able to go that way. Then you bring it in. Okay? Then turn it out. See that? So what is this? Well, this is the beginning of a move they call the warrior move. Okay? I just call it changing directions, because you got to be able to change directions without halting, without losing your balance, shifting for your balance. You got to be able to do this. Now, when I do this on this side, right here, I know I have arthritis in here, and I have to do this just to keep moving the muscles to gently coax it into a full range of motion. See how I stepped out? Then I just come back. So I can feel this. Now, when I do it this way, no, I don't feel nothing, because this is my hip replaced. I know, this one's still there and got arthritis in it. See how I stepped out a little bit? See how I stepped out a little bit? Yeah? So I got one foot going this way. I got one foot going this way. And then I'm going to bend. I'm going to bend this way. So whenever I bend my knee this way, don't let it come in. Keep it out over the toe. Okay, dokie? You're pointing. You're pointing. See that? So I'm facing this way, and I'm going this way. So I'm wide, I'm open in all those joints, all right? Settle your shoulders down, take a big deep breath. Are you ready? Remember that move I did with the hand over the head? Okay, keep pushing. You're pointing this way. Bring that hand right here. Only the hand. Be careful now, because you'll get off. Okay, now, really pull that wrist. Yeah, take a breath and then bring it back and then bring it back. Now, here I am. I got to get back to here in one move. That's the goal. But if you're way out here and you're a little unsteady, take a breath, drop your shoulders, and just push it to here. And then push it to here. And then come up. Why do I tell you this? When our goal is to go from here to here, okay? Why do I tell you to come from here and not to do it in one fell swoop if you're not used to it? Because this is what happens. I hope you're seeing me. A lot of people don't have their stomach tightened, and they go, oh, I'm supposed to come from there to here. And they do that kind of motion. They do they whip their back, trying to get their leg into here. That's what I'm trying to get you to avoid. Okay, so let's do it on the other side. So I'm right here. Okay, will that be better? I'll do it here. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. So what am I going to do first? I'm just going to turn my leg. This is my very tight side. So if you have tightness, many times you will lock your knees. Don't lock your knees. They're softened. Drop your shoulders. Take a breath through the nose. I'm telling myself all these things. And then do you see what I just did? You see I came out just a few inches, but my toe is going this way. My knee is going this way. And let me tell you something. It's taking all I can do to keep this knee from collapsing in, because it's tight and I feel it. I feel that arthritic kind of tightness. It hurts. Yeah. But if I keep doing these, I'm buying more time. Okay. And I'm very functional. It's just, I know it's tight. Now, do you see what I'm doing? What am I doing? I'm bending the knee over the toe. And if you have any arthritis in your hip right here, like I do, wow, you're feeling this, and you feel how impactful this simple move is. So this leg is not locked, but it's straight. The knee is soft. Toes forward. This one is going this way. Okay, now instead of me turning my body toward this, I want to keep it forward. Okay, so we're going to put our hands out. So we're pointing here, keeping that knee open, then bend the knee, bend this knee, bend this knee, bend it down there as far as you can. Drop your shoulders, take a big deep breath. Big deep breath. Big deep breath. Bend that knee as far as you feel you can. Then take this hand, keep your chest open, bring it over the head, take a breath through the nose, keep your bearings, and then pull that wrist, just like we practiced a while ago. Take a big deep breath, take a big deep breath, and bring it back, and bring it back, and bend that knee just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. See how I'm going? Now, once you've opened for a little bit of time, like we are right here, keep that shoulder and chest forward, bend that knee. Okay, now you're going to come back to standing. What we want is you to be able to go from here to here in one move. Okay, something as simple as that. And for me to point this out, I'm telling you, this is a significant issue with different classes and different disciplines, okay? Yoga, Tai Chi, I don't care what it is. When you go from here to here and you jerk your back in order to do that, that will get you into trouble. So you slide it and you slide it until you get to where you're able to, with your muscles, go from this to this. And that requires a lot of strength through here. And that's the benefit of doing those kinds of moves. But it doesn't help you if you don't understand the little pitfalls that can happen during that type of move. So now I'm going to come to my little chair here, and I'm going to focus primarily on two moves now. But I'm going to break it down just like I broke those moves down. This is going to be the, I call it the lean-to. Some people call it the downward dog, or whatever you want to call it. You can do it from a chair. So here I am. If I step back, I can be in this kind of a way right here. And what I want you to know is you can be here. You can go lower here. If your wrists bother you, go to your fist. If you take this out of here, then you're going to be on the chair. You're going to be 2 inches further down. But now I want to focus on the lean-to. So I'm right here. I'm going to go up into the toes. Then I want to drop down to the heels. And then I'm going to drop my chest right into the knees. My knees are soft. They're not locked. They're soft. Then I'm going to shift into the toes. I'm going to go way up into a flexed toe with my hands down. And at this point, y'all, your shoulders have to be in line with your wrist. Okay? So it doesn't matter if you're on the floor. And some of you could be in the floor right now. That's fine. Because I want to go way up into my toes. And then come back down. Gently, gently, gently. Then I'm going to soften my knees. And I'm going to keep my hands right here so that my biceps are at my ears. And I'm going to push my butt back so I feel this big stretch. Okay? Then I'm going to go from side to side. And my shoulders are way up around my ears here. You're at a nice wide stance, not as wide as you could be. And you're shifting. And you're shifting. And you're rolling the outside foot. Rolling the outside foot. Rolling. And you keep your biceps at your ear. Yeah, right there. Rolling, rolling. You should feel that in your groin. You go all the way down. You should feel that on your inner thigh, inner thigh, inner thigh, inner thigh. Breath, breath, breath. Now you rotate forward and you bring the shoulders over the wrists right here. So they're over the wrist. And I'm pushing those heels down, pushing those heels down, but my shoulders are over my wrist. So you go from this point to a high butt and a chest lowering. And you do not lock your knees. They stay soft. They're not locked. And then you just bend the knee forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Breath, breath, breath. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your chin tucked. Okay. Then you step in. This move I'm going to do in just a few minutes on the floor. If you don't want to go to the floor, then you're going to go back to the chair. Okay. Now, I'm going to do one more move from the chair because some of you are on the chair. And it's going to be a little harder to do seated. You can be on the pad or you can take the pad out. However, it's more comfortable for you. And we're going to do a hip lift. Okay, so this is going to be a bridge. We're going to try to do a bridge from the chair. So you drop your shoulders, take a breath, and you push into the heels. I want you to bring your toes up. So anytime you're in this position to do the next part, which is going to be a progression in a back bridging, okay, or hip lifts, however it floats your boat. I'm going to drop my shoulders. If I'm going to do it up here, I got to drop my shoulders. Take a breath, keep my chin tucked in, push down into the heels of my hand and stay on my heels and lift my hips, okay? And we're going to progress from that move. That's the position that you've got to hit, okay? So for everybody else who's going to work with me on the floor, we're going to go to the floor, but you can do all of it from the chair. You just have to be a little more intentional about certain moves, like the shoulder. You got to get that shoulder down. It's easy to do it without it. Okay, see here? See here? I got my knee down here. I can just come right here and come right off that chair. Or I can get down many, many ways. I've shown you how to do it many, many times. So if I'm down here and I'm on my hands and knees, number one, if you really want to help your abdominal muscles, get down in this position that we're in and simply do circular rotation. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm keeping my shoulders down. I'm keeping my tummy tight. I'm going to go around in one direction. Okay. I'm going to go all the way around, and you should be feeling your tummy tighten. You almost cannot be in a crawling position without engaging your abdominals. You've got to engage them. Now, some of you might have your knees that are replaced and it bothers you. This doesn't bother mine. I have a good carpet here, so always put something underneath. So once you've gone around once or twice, that's going to help work your abdominals so efficiently for what they were meant to. Why do you think we want to have babies crawl before they start walking? It's to develop their core, okay? So once I'm down here now, I'm going to dig my toes in. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm digging my toes in, okay? And from this position, I'm going to encourage you to go wide, all right? I want to have you go wide, and we're going to do that downward dog, or I call it the fold part. It's the folding one. It's the first phase of folding, okay? So now tighten your tummy, because you're going to get your knees off the ground. You got to tighten your tummy. Drop your shoulders, take a breath. Tighten your tummy one more time, then push hard into the toes and straighten those legs. Okay? So now you're down for the count, so to speak. And you go from that to back down to the knee is in the floor. Okay? Drop your shoulders. Big breath. We're going to do this 3 times, y'all. If your wrists bother you, really persist at trying to use them a little. And then if you need to, go to your fists. You can do that. You can even probably go to your elbows. Anyway, drop the shoulders. Use your hands with your wrists if you can. You're flexing your toes. Tighten your tummy one more time. Breath. Knees come up. And push your heels down. Take a big deep breath. Then you come back and you come back down. Okay? So if you're not to that point yet and you want to go from the chair, do that. Then you can come down to the elbow anytime you want to. All right? And from this point right here, you dig into those toes and you just lift. Take a big deep breath. Drop the heels as much as you can. Breath, 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 breath. Then bring those knees back down. And back down. And now lay your feet flat so that you get a plantar flexion going. Okie dokie. Now we're going to go into the very important hip bridging or back bridging, however you want to call it. I'm going to go this way because I have my little light on here. And so I'm getting the benefit of the light into my face. So I'm going to go from here. And for many of you, if you're on the ground, then you're probably good to go. You can do everything without too much concern. However, if you have had back issues, it's almost impossible for you to get in the floor. Please sit in the chair and you're going to do the hip bridging from there. Okay. And you can do it. You can do it quite nicely. So I hope that you're seeing my feet here. So I'm going to go from here, and I would never assume that it's okay for you to go back and that your back is all good to go, because a lot of people, that's where they hurt themselves. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is I'm going to encourage you to go to one side or the other, I don't care which, and roll down to the floor. Because this is what gets people in trouble, is going straight back and it stressing their back. So I'm going to go right here, and then I'm going to come right here. So I'm right down here. Now we've done this a lot. We've done back, and I've talked about it a lot. You can do it with your feet in the chair. That's a little more advanced. Oh dear. Let me switch this off. Sorry about that. I'll have to get that in a minute. Okay, here we are, right here. Okie dokie. First thing, you want your palms up, because I don't want you to rely on your hands pushing down so much. Pull your shoulders down. And now the second thing, besides putting your palms up, is you got to pull your toes up, because I want you to dig into your heels. The minute you do that, it's going to be so much easier for you to actually innervate the gluteal muscles. That means turn them on, okay? So heels, drop your shoulders, palm up, breath, and now I want you to just tighten in, and I want you to rotate the hip as you're tightening in, okay? So that you come up into a move that will actually use your gluteals. Yes, you're going to use some of your hamstring. Yes, you're going to use a little of this, but I want you to really be lifting and turning those gluteals on. You're going to hold it right here. You're going to take a big deep breath. You're going to roll back down. The smaller your back goes first, and then you roll back in. So it has a lot to do with your hip pelvic position. All right, palm up. We're not gonna do repetitions, so to speak. We're gonna hold for time. Okay, so I'm gonna tighten in on my gluteal right now, and then I do a little spinal press, and then I roll up one vertebra at a time, and my palms are up, and you should be tightening in those gluteals right now. Woo! Yes. And what I want you to do is pay attention to the heel pressure. Some of you are pushing out. Now come on down, come on down, come on down. So we held it for about 10 to 15 seconds, which is my goal. So I'm not doing repetitions. I'm doing lifting and holding. Palms are up. If you're pushing out, you're actually involving more with your leg muscles. I want you to just push down. I don't want your legs to move out. Okay, palms up, drop your shoulders, take a breath, squeeze into the gluteals, heels are down, push down, not out. And I'm gonna squeeze, and I'm gonna bring my vertebrae up in a progression, like a string of pearls. I'm gonna hold it up here. Take a big deep breath, take a big deep breath, take a big deep breath, hold it, really hold it. Don't go too far up and don't cave on me, okay? So it's just tight and you're pushing down with your heels, okay? Palms are up, hold breath, hold breath, hold breath, hold breath. Then come down one vertebrae at a time, one vertebrae at a time, and release. Now, if you're feeling tight in there, you can bring your ankle right over your knee, just like that. You're gonna come across your body first. See how my palms are up, and I'm just crossing over, and it's getting into some deep butt muscles right there. Take a breath. And hold it as long as you need to, and then come back, and then open the other way. So you don't just stop there, go all the way open. Keep your palms up. Okay, shoulders are down. Take a big deep breath. Okay, tighten your tummy and bring the leg back to neutral. Then do the other side. Here we go, ankle over knee. You're gonna go across the body with the knee first. Palms are up, hands are open wide, shoulders are down. So not only is this a good position to really hit targeted muscles around the hip, it's an excellent position to line you up posturally. Your shoulders should be down, the back of your head should be down. If you're having a hard time with that and you need to put a pillow under your head, it's probably that's understandable. It's probably because of your forward head kind of an issue that we're working on, aren't we? Okay, take a breath, tighten in on the tummy, lift, and come open. Come open, open, open. Now it goes open all the other way out, as far as you feel you can go. My chair is in my way. There. How's that? Okay. Keep that ankle over the knee. Take a breath. Open and hold, open and hold, open and hold. Breath, breath, breath. Now tighten your tummy in and bring it back. Yay. Okay, now we're going to come back in to our little hip lift and in our quest to get those gluteals functioning. I'm going to put my heels down, okay, and remember, if you're standing around somewhere and you've done some activity, you can't really lay down on the ground anywhere. I covered that at the beginning of the class, but I'll cover it again. you can do that. You just have to be mindful of what you're doing. So now I'm tightening in. I'm tightening in. I'm trying to push straight down, not out with my heels. My toes are up. Palms are up. Take a breath. Squeeze. Come up one vertebrae at a time. You do that pelvic tuck, so to speak, and you're up here and you're pushing straight down on your heels. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. Take a big breath. And then come back down and come back down and come back down and come back down. Release and then bring one leg up. Here's the progression. Some of you may not be able to do this next move. That's okay. If it's too much, then put both feet down and keep doing with both legs. Okay? So I would only go to this next one if I was for sure you were pushing straight down with your heels and that you could maintain and really turn that gluteal muscle on. So see, I'm pushing up now. It's a little deeper, a little harder. I'm going to hold. I'm going to keep up into a good position. You should be feeling this in the deep gluteal and in the hamstring. And then you gently come down and come down. If you're not ready for that, then you just wait. You just do 2 feet. Okay? Big breath. Now raise the other leg up. Get your heel under you. So I'm right here. Breath. Drop shoulders. Palm up. Squeeze that gluteal. And push. So this is my hip replace side. And I can tell it's much weaker. Okay? I'm just going to hold it up there. I want to hold it. I want to hold it to 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Or I try to hold it to 15 seconds. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, and then come down. And if that was really pushing you, if you stayed in there, you felt it. And then go back to just 2. First of all, bring one leg in, one leg in. Okay? You can just do a little kick movement. This is just a recovery move. Point flex, just like that. Rock over, just a little bit. Big breath. Then put one leg down, one leg down. If that was really pushing you, then go back to 2 legs. Squeeze in the gluteal, palms up, drop your shoulders, breath, spinal press, and you come up one vertebrae at a time, and you hold it right there. Don't go too far up. I don't want you arching up. I want you to be right in line. Hip, shoulder, right in line. Breath. Take a breath, hold. Take a breath, hold, squeeze tight. Squeeze tight, squeeze tight, squeeze tight, squeeze tight. Breath, breath. And come down one vertebrae at a time, one vertebrae at a time, and then do that pelvic tilt, and then finally you're down. Okay? Now, roll to the side anytime you need to. Anytime things are feeling a little tense, a little tight, you roll to the side. This is a great move. Your feet are on the ground. They need to be able to roll from side to side. Take a big deep breath. I'm going to roll. And then I'm going to do a move that I should have done before we started the hip bridging. I'm going to do it now. So go ahead and roll and lay down on your tummy. Okay, lay down on your tummy. I just had to check the time. Okay, so we're on our tummy. So one of the things that you can do, and see, you can do this move standing up against a wall. You put your foot against the wall, like if I were against the wall like this, and I could bring my foot up here. Just bring it up like you're bringing your heel to your hip. Okay, that's number 1. Drop your shoulders. Number 2, if this is too much for you, you go down. And all you're going to try to do is put the bottom of your foot up on the ceiling. Okay, so if you were standing somewhere against a wall and you could bring your leg, like you're going to bring your hip to your heel, Just like that. Your heel to your hip, I should say. Your heel to your hip. It would be hard to do it the other way. You see this? This move right here. Keep your hips down. Don't roll excessively. You're going to roll a little bit. Try to stay grounded down. And bring that leg up. So, it's this move that you can do standing at a chair, lying down, standing, that will really assist you in turning on your gluteal muscles. That's the point of this whole workout today. Okay, so just bring your heel to your hip, drop your head. That'll help it. Okay, squeeze your gluteal and lift. Don't roll. Don't roll your hips here. Just lift, and you should be feeling that contraction in your gluteal and your hamstring. And then bring it down, okay? And again, don't worry about going for repetitions here. Hold it. After you've done that, 3 or 4 times, and you've held it 10 to 15 seconds. So before I lift, I have to tighten my gluteal. Then I lift, and I don't roll. And I try to put the foot up on the ceiling. And I try to hold it. Breath, 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 breath. And then I go to the other side. Don't roll. It's real tempting to roll. All I want you to do is squeeze your gluteal and put your foot up on the ceiling, the bottom of your foot. And you hold it there. And you hold it there. And you hold it there. And then you come back down. And then if you can do 2 of them, great. Some of us cannot do that. Be very careful that your tummy is engaged and you do a little bit of a spinal press and you just act like you're going to put your feet up. It's not going to move a lot, but what is going to contract powerfully when you try to go up with your foot here, your heel up, you're going to feel it here and here. Breath in a good way. Then you bring those down. Do not stress about it if you can't do both of them at the same time. That's a little more advanced. Do one at a time. If you could just get yourself laying down somewhere, it could be in bed before you get up, for goodness sakes. You just come here, bring one leg up, don't roll. Bring the other leg up, squeeze your butt before you do it. You will be far ahead of the curve. Okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to go up without any assistance. Put my toes under me and tighten my tummy. Drop my shoulders and come up. By tightening your tummy and dropping your shoulders, oh my goodness, just those 2 moves, you will be so far ahead of the curve in your movement ability if you just do those 2 kind of moves. Take a big deep breath. Do some body swings with your arms. Big breath. Go into a big T. Go into a W. And go into a Y. And then bring those shoulders down and see how you're stepping. You want to be in control. So a lot of this was very nuanced things in just the act of standing up from a sit down position. I went through that. So some of these hip opening moves I hope will help you a lot. And it really did hurt me more than you, especially Tim, I'm sure. Okay. Stop recording. Stop.